The main motivations for starting this channel was to do my part in contributing positively to the Cardano ecosystem by the sharing of information on development progress, help form a bigger picture perspective when assessing these developments, and in turn aid in, to whatever degree, further adoption of the Cardano blockchain. It's no secret that I fill a considerable amount of my time with researching, tracking and generally interacting with all things Cardano. But my journey into the Cardano ecosystem wasn't smooth sailing. I made many mistakes, putting immense time in researching other chains, before I determined that for me, it's Cardano that stands the greatest chance in delivering that real world impact we should all be hoping blockchain to realise. Whilst it's evident I love Cardano, as mentioned before, it's now the only layer 1 crypto I hold. Rather than being a maximalist of ADA, I'm a maximalist of its fundamentals, core principles, the research-driven approach, superior technology, and the vision in the mission statement. Whilst we are much closer in terms of the initial roadmap being rolled out, we're still incredibly early in the process of these fundamentals coming to fruition. Now represents a better time than ever, with respect to Cardano, to grasp the fundamentals that are in play and get fully dialed in. Welcome back for today's installment of Cardano Insights, where we track the all-important developments at the very pulse of Cardano and its ecosystem each weekday. So let's get straight into it. Often when we look at the fundamentals behind any blockchain, it's these factors that we use to almost predict or evaluate what impact they'll have as they play out, and as a result of that impact, assess how that translates into value, success or adoption of the blockchain. Normally fundamentals are major aspects of the tech, use case or innovation behind the protocol, big promise of partnerships or collaborations that are normally looked at with a far more long-term horizon perspective. But these significant factors are in play and can come to fruition at all stages of the roadmap, and therefore positively impact the progress being made. So with that in mind, what I thought I'd do in today's video is lay out a few factors that I personally see playing a significant role in positively impacting Cardano, its ecosystem and further adoption when looking at a more short-term horizon viewpoint. Now, whether it be positively or negatively, it's evident regulation is going to impact blockchain, and it's clear in this respect over the coming months and leading into 2023, we're going to see many changes in regulation that for many cryptocurrencies will definitely disrupt the way they're currently operating or would like to operate. So here's the first factor where I see Cardano navigating through this period of uncertainty and has the best chance of holding up when it comes to regulatory scrutiny. Considering the work Charles is putting in respect to the regulators, do you see any other leading figures in the blockchain space representing the industry, attempting to create positive dialogue and form clarity in this respect? There's a lot to be said for this. The very fact it's Charles who is at the table in Congress goes a long way to determine his character, desire to protect the industry, and importantly, steer it in a direction that doesn't stifle innovation or growth. Now, I'm not saying for one moment that because it's Charles that's there, it's going to create some form of bias or favoritism towards Cardano. But if you're invested in a blockchain, and the industry is overshadowed by this pending uncertainty, you're in a much better position if the founder of that blockchain is at the table and involved with the process. But other than the regulatory scrutiny, for example, is a crypto a security or commodity, this only forms one part of the regulatory piece. Regulation is going to form the foundation for many opportunities for blockchain to become more widely adopted. As discussed recently on this channel when covering the Utah politician, blockchain solves many problems governments face, for example the transparency in the voting process, supply chain management, identity solutions, energy consumption and cost reduction. If implemented, all would have very beneficial impacts on societies, and is really an inevitability that they'll be adopted sooner or later. So when it comes to government deciding upon using blockchain technology, I think the work Charles is doing in representing the industry as a whole, already seemingly with a seat at the table, could have very beneficial effects for Cardano. So think about this. When they do in fact decide to incorporate such technologies or systems, which is already very much in the conversation, I wonder what blockchain is going to demonstrate the most appeal. See, whenever governments make big decisions, they call upon experts, in this case academics or scientists. See, Cardano's academic peer-reviewed process has not only benefited the correctness, accuracy and innovation behind the technology, but in my view is going to result in the most attractive prospect for government adoption. With Charles' continued efforts with the regulators in full swing, and Cardano's tech backed up by science, whilst many fear regulation, for these reasons, I'm actually confident if any blockchain is going to navigate through and come out the other side in a stronger position, is Cardano. The other area that's going to have significantly positive effects in the short term is what's coming to the ecosystem after the Vassal hard fork. With the arrival of stablecoins and a whole host of innovative dApps ready to deploy, this is going to inject a whole range of utility and use cases not currently available. This will no doubt lead to a rise in activity, making it a far more attractive ecosystem for users to operate in and leverage the benefits these protocols offer. This rise in activity will also play a big part in attracting more users from outside of the ecosystem to also participate, and in the short term, once Vassal is delivered, bull or bear market, I think the increase in active users we're going to see operating on Cardano is going to surprise many. See, many of the protocols launching are bringing to the table far more than copy-paste clones of what we've seen throughout many other smart contract platforms. Instead, these protocols are bringing innovation made possible by the EU UTXO model. When you combine this with higher security and much lower transaction fees, you have a recipe for substantial growth and adoption. Cardano's DApp ecosystem, whilst not a first mover and is far behind the maturity of, say, that of Ethereum's, what we have is far greater than first mover advantage. We have a clean slate, a solid foundation, unaffected by hacks and exploits, and a developer community that up to now seems to be intent on delivering innovation, quality protocols, with security as the #1 priority. With all that's going on right now in the crypto space, you could argue that the dApps ecosystem on Cardano is just starting to blossom with almost perfect timing. The users in this space are in need of change and an alternative to what's currently available. Cardano presents that alternative, and the impact our dApps ecosystem is going to have on the wider blockchain space post-Vassal, in my opinion, is being highly underestimated. So in terms of positively impacting and progressing regulation, and a growing dApp ecosystem on the cusp of serious activity that promises to deliver innovation and new standards for its users, these are two areas to consider that shorter term, I feel Cardano is going to do very well, taking more steps down the road to wider adoption. So I guess let's see how it all plays out, and as always, we're going to be tracking progress closely here on this channel. Now to a look at a key factor that has both short and long-term horizon prospects, but holds fundamental importance in collaboration, leading to a more interoperable future. If you remember recently we covered John Woods leaving Cardano to join Algorand. At this time, this was met with mixed feelings amongst the Cardano community, who, and I think I can speak for everyone, really valued his contribution at IOG, not to mention his fantastic explainers and updates in the 360s each month. But I think equally everyone was happy to see him progress in his career, and we also took away the positives that could come from such a move in terms of a more collaborative future between Cardano and Algorand. Well, yesterday this clip was shared with John speaking on the Recoup YouTube channel. We got a further insight into what kind of collaboration he could see taking place between the two chains. John explained that he had a brief conversation with Charles and also other senior executives at IOG before he left around the concept of this collaboration. So where he sees immediate value is in blockchain interoperability. Whilst he's well aware that there's many protocols doing this already, for instance Chainlink, what interests him is the idea of doing something that forms a standard for interoperability using state proofs. And in true John Woods fashion, he delivered a fantastic explainer describing them as an elegant way to photograph the essence of a chain and prove it to another chain, making building bridges real easy. This enables only using a small piece of information to prove to one chain that the coins they say are locked up is in fact the case, forming the bridge enabling the coins to be released to the other chain they're attempting to bridge to. This was definitely an interesting insight. If you can perform this kind of bridging using mathematics rather than through a third-party bridge, forming a trustless mechanism to deliver interoperability, from a cost and security perspective, this would pretty much revolutionise the way in which bridging to other chains is carried out. John explained that if this kind of collaboration between what he called the big brainers in the blockchain space, being Cardano and Algorand, can be achieved, then it would definitely open up the floodgates for more chains to adopt this same approach. When we think about how bridges have been hitting the headlines for all the wrong reasons with the recent exploits, but also consider the fact that cross-chain bridging is vital for an interoperable future, then the idea of exploring state proofs is an extremely interesting one, and I'll definitely be tracking the developments regarding state proofs and a Cardano-Algorand collaboration in future videos. So that's it for a slightly shorter and later installment of Cardano Insights, as we keep track of all the development progress in the ecosystem and continue to spread those positive Cardano vibes. If you found value in the content, then please be sure to comment, share, like, and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all the support. We'll be back tomorrow with your daily roundup. Until then, thanks for watching, have a great day, and as always, keep it Cardano.